By now, we already know just how brutal and horrifying the narco world can be. And in most cases, men are usually the perpetrators behind these barbaric acts. But what if I told you that women can be just as ruthless, if not more? This is Juana La Peque. With her innocent-looking face and red hair falling over her shoulders, you might be tempted to think that she is just another ordinary young woman. But this is actually one of Mexico's most dangerous and notorious women in narcotics trafficking, known for killing men and doing all manner of sick and twisted stuff with their deceased bodies. But how did this seemingly sweet young woman become this ice-cold killer? Today, we'll explore the shocking case of Juana La Peque, the female narco who slept with enemy corpses. Juana, who was known by her nickname La Peque, or the Little One, was born in the state of Hidalgo near Mexico City. Not much is known about her childhood, except for what she wrote on a blog saying, "Ever since I was a little girl, I was a rebel, and then became a drug addict and an alcoholic." At the age of 15, Juana got pregnant by a man who was 20 years older than her, and without any skills to provide for her newborn son, she resulted in being an illegal streetwalker. In this line of work, she interacted a lot with dangerous men, especially cartel members. And soon enough, she found herself sucked into the violent world of one of the most ruthless crime syndicates in Mexico, Los Zetas Cartel. Based in Nuevo Laredo, Los Zetas' origins date back to the late 1990s, when commandos of the Mexican army deserted their ranks and began working as enforcement of the infamous Gulf Cartel. When Ociel Cardenas Guillen took control of the Gulf Cartel in 1997, he found himself in a violent turf war with rival cartel groups. In a desperate bid to protect himself and his organization, he approached this guy, Arturo Guzman de Sena, an army lieutenant, and asked him to set up the most ferocious hit squad possible for his cartel. Guzman then defected from the army and took more than 30 soldiers with him, promising them a much higher pay than what they were getting in the Mexican military. They got their name, Los Zetas, from their radio code in the military, which was the letter Z. The letter Z in Spanish is Zeta. For a while, the Gulf Cartel and the Zetas operated efficiently as one strong unit called La Campaña. But then, when Arturo Guzman was killed by the Mexican military and Ociel Cardenas was arrested and extradited to the United States, everything changed. A violent power struggle ensued with both Los Zetas and the Gulf Cartel fighting for control. Eventually, Los Zetas broke away from the Gulf Cartel to become one of the most powerful and violent cartels in Mexico. Being the new kid on the block, it competed with more established cartels by using extreme violence and cruelty as a form of psychological warfare. They raided enemy territories, tortured their victims, strung up bodies, and slaughtered indiscriminately.
Also take over the local drug selling, shaking down, kidnapping, stealing cars, selling pirated goods. They started taking over corrupt trade unions. So it wasn't just a fight about the drug trade of the United States. It was a fight about controlling every inch of territory and all of the businesses in this territory.
Now, although cartels and gangs have mostly been known to be male-dominated, women have also played active roles in these organizations. These roles include falcons, or halcones in Spanish. They are considered the eyes and ears of the streets. They are the lowest rank in any cartel and are responsible for supervising and reporting the activities of the police, the military, and rival gangs. Hitmen, in Spanish, sicarios, the armed group within the organization responsible for carrying out assassinations, kidnappings, thefts, and extortions, operating protection rackets, as well as defending their territories from rival gangs and the military. Then we have lieutenants, in Spanish, tenientes, the second highest position in cartel organization. They are responsible for supervising the hitmen and falcons within their own territories. They have the authority to carry out low-profile murders without permission from their bosses. Lastly, we have the drug lords, or capos in Spanish, the highest position in any cartel, responsible for supervising the entire narcotics operation appointing territorial leaders, making alliances, and planning high-profile murders. In 2006, the violence in Mexico had reached a fever pitch, leading former Mexican President Felipe Calderón to declare a war on cartels and narcotics-related violence. It became extremely difficult for male sicarios to carry out their jobs without getting caught. So, the cartels started training more female assassins, or sicarias, who could operate more quietly and carefully than their male counterparts. The sicarias, who are usually known as las flacas, or skinny girls, are hired based on their appearance and ability to lure their victims by using charm and sensuality. They are even deployed for missions where subtlety and infiltration are likely to be more effective than brute force. They typically operate in groups of 3 or 4 and strike when their targets least expected. Virginia Commonwealth University professor Andrew Chestnut, who is a leading expert on las flacas, said in an interview, in order to be more desired by narco men and work more effectively, some flacas have even had cosmetic surgery.
Sicarias, female assassins, are fighting alongside their husbands and boyfriends or just joining the crime wave alone.
This is not only because women are particularly interested, it's because of a general economic trend.
A former beauty queen was arrested recently after she was found riding with suspected gang members in a truck filled with weapons. In 2011, a woman known as La Flaca was carted away to prison. She served as the plaza boss for the Zetas drug cartel at one point. Cabrera says most of these women are voluntarily becoming killers, and there's no sign the trend is slowing.
Juana joined the infamous Los Zetas cartel in 2010 in a bid for revenge after thugs reportedly killed her brother. She started out as a falcon, standing at a strategic location for 8 hours straight, looking out for cops and rival gangs. She said that if she failed or made a mistake in this assignment, her bosses would tie her up for a week as punishment and only feed her with 1 taco per day to keep her alive. As her time in the cartel continued, she began getting more and more responsibilities, including collecting protection fees from local businesses.
I worked in a bar where they were charged 5,000 pesos every 2 weeks, but the more the business earns, the more they are charged. A person comes and tells you, "We are from the Zetas and you have to pay a flat if you want to continue with your business." If he doesn't pay and he doesn't close it, he and we kill him.
She also witnessed a lot of violent incidents being carried out by her bosses, including one where a man's head was smashed open with a sledgehammer right in front of her.
I remember feeling sad, and thinking that I did not want to end up like that.
But it was not long before that fear turned into a dangerous thirst for blood. She became one of the most ruthless and notorious killers in the cartel, using her charm and beauty to lure her victims before murdering them in the most horrifying way. She revealed that she would get pretty excited by the gory sight of her dying victims after she had decapitated and mutilated their bodies.
I would feel excited by it, rubbing myself in it, and bathing in it after killing a victim. I even drank it when it was still warm.
And that's not even the most disgusting part. She also said that she would sleep with the mutilated bodies of her victims and use the severed head as well as the rest of the bodies to pleasure herself. How messed up is that? By the time Juana was arrested in 2016, she had been in the cartel for about 6 years and had killed 5 men. She is currently being held in a social reintegration center in Baja California State in Mexico, where she has managed to complete high school and is currently studying accounting. She says that she does not intend to go back to that dangerous world, but then admits that the pay can be tempting.
When I get out of jail, I could work with the organization again, but I don't want to. This served me as an experience, and not so much because of the confinement. The confinement does not end you. You end the personal experiences you live while in confinement. While I was here in jail, my parents died. But when I leave here, I will leave with one hand behind and one hand in front. I will be in great economic need. And who is going to pay me 8,000 pesos a fortnight to stop 4 hours on the street? It's always tempting to come back.
Now, while you might be tempted to think that Juana's case is one of the unique ones, unfortunately, it's not. There are more women assassins in Mexico doing some pretty horrifying stuff, but these women don't usually end up well. In fact, some of them meet some pretty grisly ends. Just look at the case of Jose La Niño, who was a notorious assassin for the Gulf Cartel. She first gained notoriety for posting a photo on social media of herself smiling sweetly while holding a modified M4 assault rifle. The image quickly went viral as she started bragging about her bloody achievements online. In 2015, her body was discovered hacked to pieces and stuffed into an ice cooler on the US-Mexico border. A photo was released online of Niño lying dead in the cooler next to a man and woman before she was dismembered. A second photo of her butchered body in the cooler showed a tattoo which read Niño, the same as the one seen on her right forearm. It was later revealed that the person that had killed her was another skinny girl by the name of La Gladys of the Ceres.
We have more women willing to participate because of globalization, because of technology, because of modernization, which is the main issue here. It's because of modernization, women are leaving their homes, and they have found in organized crime another option to bring the bread to the table.